Welcome back to the live morning show presented by Don Bullock Chevrolet. We are honored to have Keen Gravely with us. Keen, the chairman of the board of Rocky Mount Prep. Keen, good to have you here this morning. Good to see you too, sir. Welcome. Keen, let's just get started. There was some information that came out Friday and Saturday regarding the Charter School Advisory Board, and some information was brought up by a Department of Public Instruction review of the school. I'm going to turn it over to you and let you just tell our viewers a little bit about what that is and use that as a starting point.
Well, we were in a charter school meeting about the next 3 years, and the report that they referred to and has become news is one dated August the 8th from DPI.
August 8th of this year?
This year.
Yes, sir.
And it notified us that in their review, they had found some detailed transactions that made up amounts of totaling $804,286.39 that needed corresponding supporting payment documentation. Of course, this was I would have to say it was a shock to me, because we had received on April the 24th of this year an ESSA review by DPI that said there were no requirements and no findings at all.
And just so our viewers know, an ESSA review is?
The ESSA review is, how did you spend the money from the federal government given to all public schools to help educate students through the COVID pandemic and thereafter. There's a little bit of ESSER money left, but most of it, everybody has spent.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's too early to know where the fault is, but I know where the responsibility is. The responsibility is on the board, and the board is determined to find out, all right, what happened, and to provide the detailed documentation for these journal entries and move forward. Today is 1 week from the beginning of school. So the urgent thing right now, in my mind, is getting ready for our students. We've had a change in leadership at the school. It happened at the end of July. The new leader was the director of operations, and she is an interim head of school. We had to move quickly, but it happens that the person who was there and the board found to be the right person for the school was in charge of the operations, which include accounting and management of funds. So we're glad to have somebody who is, we could say, backgrounded in that area.
Yes, sir.
And we had to move quickly because of the resignation of the former leader. Fortunately, we had a person that we felt we could go into the new school year with. We were really excited about a reset, honestly.
Let me go back for just a moment. So what the most current review that DPI did that came out on the 8th of August, I want to make sure that our viewers understand. When it says that there was $804,200, it's not saying
286 and change.
I'm not making fun of that. I'm not.
I'm not either. It's a big number.
It's a big number. Exactly what they're saying. They're not saying that money is missing.
No.
They're saying that it's not that it is. Well, I won't put words in it. It's not that it's. What are they actually saying when they're?
Well, they're actually saying that we need to identify detailed transactions that make up the amounts reported in journal entries.
Okay.
They're in the journal entries, but there needs some corresponding supporting payment documentation, and the journal entries have to be accurate. And that's what we know so far. Now, the first thing we did was we called the company with whom we worked in 2022, 21, 22. Actually, it's 20 and through 22. And said, I got this letter here. Would you look at it in detail? So I sent the whole letter.
And if I can interrupt you, the company that you're talking about provided what type of services to
Accounting and some other management
Okay.
and HR
Okay.
provisions.
Yes.
It's one of the larger companies in North Carolina that works with, supports charter schools.
And it's not, and I will say, ladies and gentlemen, it's not uncommon for not only charter schools or schools, but lots of organizations these days to outsource that type of service to a company that does nothing but that.
Well-
and I know that because a lot of my clients do the same thing.
Well, they're
Yeah.
experts.
Yes.
And we depend on them. They came back before the end of the day saying, we believe we can help you with this. And the reason I went first to them is that they know their systems, they know those journal entries, they know how they're put in there. They have a tracking system for what was done at which time with respect to what expenses and what journal entries. So we went to them first. They're going to give us a whole scope of work response this week. But Friday afternoon, they said, yeah, we can help you on this.
And help me understand the company that you're talking about that you contacted on Friday. What they do is they take the information that is given to them and put it into their system.
Yes.
So if it's one of those situations where if they get incorrect information or they don't get complete information, all they can deal with is what they're given. It's not their responsibility to go out and gather the information.
They don't gather it, no. But every month, they produce a report. It says, here was the budget, and here are the different pots of money that come in. The money doesn't come in all at one time.
Okay.
There are various sources. Some of them are as federal funds, ESSER funds, at least in the last couple of years. State funds, local funds. In other words, for instance, Nash County Public Schools sends us money that is allocated to the students from Nash County that go to Rocky Mount Prep.
Yes.
That money comes in at different times. And then you have expenditures, and you compare the income and the expenditures, and you see where we are in the school year and how does that compare to the budget. All of that work they do. It's really complex. There are multiple people working on those accounts. The company is Charter Success, Charter Success Schools.
Okay.
At last, let's see if I've got it written down here. Reputable, very reputable company.
Yes, sir.
It's based in Durham, and we look forward to working with them, getting this straight. We are also going to do, another part of this was implement corrective actions, and so that this will never happen again. That part is a board thing. It has to do with policies, but it also has to do with another level of checks and balances, which we're going to do.
And Keen, am I correct in I'll just ask, when the board meets on a regular basis, finance and budget is one of the things that is presented to the board on a regular basis?
Every board meeting, every monthly board meeting, regular board meeting, we review finances. The board does not roll up its sleeve and go into the journal entries or anything like that. The question is,
You have someone whose responsibility is to do that, who then makes the report to the board.
exactly,
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
a combination of some staff in-house in the school, but generally these accounting companies, right now our company is named Acadia. They're a couple of the largest in the state. That's their job. And I know Charter Success well enough to be able to call up Corey Drawn, who I believe is the founder and president of the company. We had a very cordial talk, and he said, yes, I can help you.
You mentioned the time frame. When did you actually learn about this situation?
Well, on August the 8th, an email came into my mailbox. And as I said, having received on April 24th a clear bill of health,
Yes.
I was shocked. My immediate response is to let our attorney know. Be in touch with the new head of school, who is newly in place. So,
Yes, sir.
but to let them know this is what's going on, and to let the board know. At that time, we were preparing for a presentation before the state CSAB, Charter School Advisory Board,
Yes.
about our renewal. So I figured the most important thing is to talk to the charter board about our renewal
Yes.
and immediately handle this problem. The charter board brought it up, so having thought about it, we said we would take care of it.
What, if I can ask, and I can understand if you can't share this, what was the reaction of the charter board when you had that initial discussion?
I think the
with
charter board was likewise shocked. One of the reasons is that Rocky Mount Prep is one of the oldest prep schools in North Carolina.
I did not know that.
It was founded in 1997. It was not the first, but it was among the first. It is also not the largest, but it is among the largest. And not Kel Landis. It was founded by Rocky Mount businessmen with the purpose of providing a world-class education,
Yes.
free,
Yes,
for
sir.
students who otherwise could not get that.
But you had it was a good conversation with the board, and they
I would say it was a stern conversation with
Okay.
the board, which I understand. And if I were in their place, I would be equally concerned. It's not a small amount of money. It's about 7% of the budget, but I mean, it's still
Yes.
a large number, and it does reflect a need for more controls. Board recognizes that, takes responsibility for that.
Ken, we're going to step aside right now for our first commercial break, but I want to talk a little bit more about this when we come back, and also a little bit about where Rocky Mount Prep goes at this point, what moving forward. And school starts in a week, so in terms of addressing that and students coming in. But we're going to step aside right now for a very quick commercial break. We're not going to have Fred's weather right now. Fred will come back and have his weather at right after the top of the 8 o'clock hour, and we'll be back right after these messages with more with Ken Grafley.
Put your graduate in one of the safest, most dependable cars in the market. Put them in a Chevrolet. For 3 years in a row, J.D. Powers has awarded Chevrolet the most dependable cars on the road today. Don Bullock Chevrolet has over 30 different makes of new cars and trucks right now, and you can save thousands. Pre-owned or new, we have it at the price you want. Doing business the better way, Don Bullock Chevrolet.
Shop local at Traded in Small Shop Small. Traded is stocked full of gently used items, all backed by a 30-day warranty. Plus, when you shop at Traded and you bring some items you're not using anymore, you can get paid in cash on the spot. Next door, you can shop nearly 100 local merchants selling a variety of goods. Or you can open your own retail store at Small Shop Small with no long-term lease.
Locals shop local. Traded in Small Shop Small.
When faced with special care needs for elderly or disabled loved ones, families want compassionate, comforting care. That's Tender Touch Home Care Services' goal, providing the level of care we would expect for our own. With over 10 years of home care excellence, Tender Touch provides an array of services that keeps your loved one at home. From personal care, light housekeeping, errands, and meal preparation, to our private duty care program, which combines all of our home care offerings in one package.
Tender Touch Home Care Services, where your needs are our concern.
If you're shopping for furniture, stop into Aquila Furniture at 1540 North Wesleyan Boulevard in Rocky Mount. They have a powered reclining sofa and love seat with speakers, charging station, and reading lights for only $24.99. Two two-sided queen mattress sets starting at $750. Bedroom suites, price dropped to $899. Queen Sleigh Bedroom Suite for $4,000 and King Sleigh Bed Suite for $4,500. Aquila Furniture has appliances, Lazy Susan dinettes, sofa and love seat combinations, anything that you need to fully furnish your home. Financing is available. Come on in today. Don't let a deal on quality furniture pass you by.
Welcome back to the live morning show presented by Don Bullock Chevrolet. If you're looking for Fred's weather, we're going to push Fred back until the top of the next hour for his next weather forecast, because we're talking with Keene Gravely, chairman of the board of Rocky Mount Preparatory School. And Keene has been kind enough to come in this morning and share with us the board's comments and what's going on with some questions that were brought up by a conversation with the Department of Public Instruction last week. And Keene, thank you very much for coming in and proactively addressing this situation, and I think putting a lot of people's questions to rest in terms of where this is and what the board is doing to address these questions that have come up. Let's pivot now and talk a little bit about, you have a new interim director, head of school, and some of the programs that Rocky Mount Prep is looking at implementing or moving forward with this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, before I pivot, I want to remember that it was Bob Malden.
Bob Malden. We both were sitting here trying to
Bob
put a
Malden
name to a face.
And other businessmen in Rocky Mount felt that Rocky Mount students, particularly those who were underprivileged or minority members, needed the opportunity to go to a world-class school.
Yes.
And I think they did a great job starting it. Every great plan has got to be refurbished and sometimes reset. And we are in a reset. Now, the new interim head of school is Heather Collins, Dr. Heather Collins, who's got experience both in elementary education and also in higher education. She's got a number of years in terms of management of higher education. So we're very, very happy to have her in that position. We're not set on all of the positions that we're going to have, but the main thing is that we are resetting the vision and the expectation of the staff, the parents, and the students. To have a world-class organization, you've got to have world-class teachers, you've got to have world-class processes, and world-class expectations. Students have had a very rough road ever since COVID came in.
Yes.
No education in person for more than a year. The deficit of learning is high. It's recognized by DPI. Everybody will talk about that. And someone said to me the other day, well, COVID is over. Let's don't talk about that anymore. Well, wait a minute.
No.
If you had a child who was in kindergarten and never saw his or her teacher's face because they were covered like this or only remotely, you're talking about really critical language learning years. It's going to take a while to recover from that.
You can take that up to high school with students who had been in in-person classrooms all their academic careers, then were forced into online classes, which both they were unaccustomed to and the system was unaccustomed to providing. And some of the things can translate better to online, perhaps English and language arts, but you have a difficult time telling me that something like calculus or physics translates well to an online situation. It just doesn't work that way.
It's very difficult. It's very important also to understand some people learn well that way.
Some don't.
I would have to say most people up to college don't learn better that way.
Yes.
Those who do learn better that way just simply soar and go forward because they go forward at the pace of interest and proficiency.
Yes.
That's not the case for most of our students. Now, one of the things we're excited about is that in the last couple of years, we've established a college and career path at the high school level.
Okay.
Students have to have a certain grade point level, which will allow them to qualify to go into Nash Community College or Edgecombe Community College or across the street at Wesleyan. We're tremendously blessed to be situated across from Wesleyan University. Caught it that time. That's exciting. We also have a full staff, not only of teachers. Now, we may be looking for a couple of teachers, but we have, as everybody is looking for a
As
couple of
everyone
teachers.
is, yes.
But we have supporting staff who know how to teach teachers and know how to implement things, for instance, like this. We hadn't done this before, but we're going to do it this year. When the bus rolls in, the minute hand starts. Minute by minute planning. From the bus to the classroom bell rings, from the bell ringing all the way to the bell ringing at the end of it. Learning needs to be taking place bell to bell, and then minute by minute to the buses and leaving.
You know, Keen, I can almost hear some of our viewers thinking, that's too regimented. That leaves no time for freedom of expression, or it leaves no time for a student to have time to digest what is going on. My guess is, though, that what you're trying to do, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, is that what you're trying to instill in them is a sense of consistency and pattern and discipline that says, as they move forward in their academic careers and in their lives, that yes, it's good for me to be able to say, I'll wake up in the morning and I know what I'm going to do. If at 8:45 I'm going to do this, at 9:45 I'm going to do this, to try and help as many people need to have the structure to better live their life and better learn. Is that something along those lines?
I would agree with that. I would also say that structure provides freedom for expression.
Yes.
If you use the first minutes of every class and the last minutes of every class, you've got more minutes.
Yes.
In that time, you can have all the things that take place, sometimes freedom of expression. A lot of times you're talking about assessments that go minute by minute, literally. A teacher looks around the classroom and takes a quick scan. It doesn't take 5 seconds to, the student's with me, that student is not paying attention right now. So I just go over there, get close to that, stand close to that student, help that student refocus. This student clearly doesn't quite have the concept. So all of that formative assessment is going on all the time. What we're planning to do is use all of the time that we've got, as opposed to not be careful about starting right after the bell, and not be careful about teaching up to the bell. On time is interesting. You know, if you're late at the bus stop by 10 seconds, you missed the bus.
Yes.
So we need to learn to be not just on time, but a little bit ahead of time, planning ahead. These are skills that these students will use for the rest of their lives.
Yes. Tell us a little bit more about the college program. For those students that qualify for it, they are spending part of their days on campus at Rocky Mount Prep and part of their days at either Nash or Edgecombe Tech or
Sometimes
Wesleyan.
they're at Nash Community College, sometimes they may be at Wesleyan, but they're getting college level instruction and they get college credits.
Okay. As well as high school credits.
Well,
correct?
high school
Yes,
credits
yes.
count for high school graduation,
Yes.
but they also count, just as the early college high school, which is so successful in Nash County and in other counties, aims so that a student can graduate from high school with a semester or a year or 2 years of college level credit.
Which translates into college costing less money.
Half of it.
And
If you
today,
get 2 years, it's going to cost you half.
in today's environment, a semester makes a big difference too with the
It
cost
does
of it.
indeed. Let me tell you one other program. We are using a program called AVID to help students learn how to take notes, summarize, write, and express. And that program, it's an acronym. It stands for Advancement via Individual Determination.
Okay.
So these are skills that we believe everybody needs, and successful people use them all the time, even without thinking about it.
Yes.
We want our students not just to graduate from high school, but to graduate with dreams and capacities to fill those dreams.
Yes. Do you have any data on the students that have gone through the college prep? And I'm sorry, I forget
You mean the college and career
the college and career, yes.
academy?
Do you have any statistics on where some of those students are now? They're in college, or
That's an interesting question. We know at graduation these students are going into these careers, and these students are going or have been accepted
Yes.
into these colleges. Many of them are historically black colleges,
Yes, sir.
which is important and good. But I don't have a record that says, Lemanuel graduated 3 years ago and this is where he is. I don't have that.
okay. As we our time goes by so quickly on these interviews.
Yes.
As we begin to wrap things up, if someone has heard who's listened to our conversation, if they have questions or further questions, where can they go to? First of all, questions about the current situation, and/or questions about wanting to learn more about Rocky Mount Prep. Is it too late to get someone in this semester if they're interested?
No, it's getting to the end. I mean, we have about 300 people who are waiting, who would
Okay.
like to come into the school. Right now, the school is about 975 students, reduced in its size so that we could make sure that we have teachers
Yes.
for all of these students. And I would have to say, yeah, apply. We are not, however, bringing in high school students. And the reason for that is that we want to be able to grow the student through elementary and then middle school so that they know this is how things are at Rocky Mount Prep. It's an at-will school, and you're not assigned to
Yes.
Rocky Mount Prep. You have to want to be part of Rocky Mount Prep. And
So your suggestion to parents would be, if you have an elementary school student,
elementary or middle.
that if this is something that you're interested in, to have more information, and if they reach the point where they think this is a viable option for their student, to submit an application.
Absolutely. It's on the website. Anybody who wants to talk to me directly, my email is kgravely, that's GRAVELY, @rmprep.org.
And we'll have that here at the station if folks would like that. Keen, any last words? What would you like for our viewers to take away from our conversation today?
Well, I think I want people to know that Rocky Mount Prep is going to address this problem properly and thoroughly. We own the problem. As the board is responsible.
Can we say publicly as well, too, to let the folks know the resolution for this?
Oh, the resolution will come down, but it's not until in November. Our response is due November the 2nd,
Okay.
and then there's going to be a response to that.
Okay.
So it's on down the line. But the main thing I want people to know is that Rocky Mount Prep is determined to offer a world-class education for its students. That's our purpose, our aim, our goal, and we are going to execute that.
Ken, first of all, thank you. I just have to ask you, Did you think this was the sort of thing you were going to be dealing with when you joined the board and became chairman of the board?
I don't think anybody expects to run across this.
It's, again, I'm not making light of it, but this is the sort of thing that when people say, would you like to consider joining our board, that people need to think about, because these are real life situations that
These
come
are.
up, and it is the responsibility of the board as the leader of an organization like this to address them.
I would have to say the reason I'm on the board is I have a passion for educating children. And I believe in the vision that Bob Malden projected. It needs to be world class, world class. The best. I've had the opportunity to attend some world class schools, including Yale and Columbia. I went to a high school named Woodbury Forest.
Yes, sir.
People who go to Woodbury Forest say, I got my education at Woodbury Forest. I also had fantastic teachers at Rocky Mount High School. I'm telling you the truth.
Yes,
my
sir.
vocabulary was built in a public school. It has to be the determination of the school to make sure students get what they need.
Yes, sir. I want to end by this. The board sent a letter out to parents and to the community on Saturday. Let me just read this to end with. You were asked about the world-class free public education Rocky Mount area, but you said in 2 words, that means better grades. Better grades means better skills for better lives after Rocky Mount Prep. We want our graduates to soar confidently into their chosen hopes and plans. Doing so will be a year after year effort to which we will all be committed. Better grades. I think that says it can be looked at on many different levels, not just from an academic standpoint, but better grades across the board.
Absolutely.
Keen, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
Appreciate
for
it.
coming. Appreciate it. This has been Keen Gravely, Chairman of the Board of Rocky Mount Prep. We appreciate him giving us so much time this morning to discuss this issue. Again, if you would like to get in touch with Rocky Mount Prep, they have an online website to look at, and Keen's email address will be here at the station if you would like to reach out to address him directly. We're going to step aside right now for our top of the hour commercial breaks. When we come back, my co-host Wayne Holloman will be here, and we're going to change topics to talk about the proposed casino and the meeting that was held Friday night by the majority of the people who have questions about bringing the casino to the community. You're watching the Live Morning Show presented by Don Bullock Chevrolet, and we'll be right back.